Welcome to the 2026 Dialogue, a masterclass series by the HR Association of India. I am Neha Jugnani, and today we are focusing on a question that sits at the heart of sustainable success. How do organizations build cultures that are not just high performing today, but future ready for what's ahead? Our theme for this session is building future ready high performance cultures. To explore what it truly takes, we are joined by Dr. Saumya Badgayan Dutta. Dr. Saumya is a seasoned panel moderator and an HR leader with over 2 decades of experience in driving strategic and cultural transformation. With dual PhD in e-commerce and psychology, she brings a rare blend of academic depth and real-world business insight. She's a world record holder, Nasscom mentor, and a professor of practice. Saumya is also known for creating conversations that are inclusive, sharp, and deeply actionable, having moderated impactful discussions across for more than 250 platforms. Dr. Saumya, thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure having you.
थैंक यू नेहा दिस वाज लॉन्ग पेंडिंग हम बार बार एक दूसरे को चेज एंड मिस कर रहे थे बट आई ऑलवेज वांटेड टू बी पार्ट ऑफ दिस मास्टर क्लास सेशन एंड थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी ओवर.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is all mine, Dr. Soumya, and I look forward to this exciting masterclass. So, to begin with, my first question, Dr. Soumya, is when organizations pursue digital transformation, culture often lags behind. So, I want to know from
Correct.
your experience, how can, what's that one cultural shift that leaders underestimate the most, and how can they course correct it early?
Thank you for that wonderful question. Basically, what happens, Neha, is that we take organization and people for granted. And while we are making a culture shift, we feel that because we come from an echelon of authority, that people will just follow suit. एक हमने बोल दिया, that would be the diktat, and people would definitely fall in place and things will fall in place. I think that's the biggest misconception, because in jewelry we have these bench workers, and so we call them the blue collar and the white collar staff. Now, any change that comes, we have to, align the change in sync to both these stratas of contributors. So what happens then? There is that one person will stand up and say, "My bench, my rule," to other person saying, "My studio, my team." You getting it? So that's
Yes.
the kind of juggle that we do. So while we are in this space, what tech can actually do is that we have to ease the tech from people feeling that, oh, is this the policing thing? Is this something that is coming? And then people become very suspicious that this is peeking into my process and it is going to do the nitpicking of what I have done. So, in that, how leaders can fix it is A, you tell them how the tech is going to complement your functions, make it easier, make it quicker, faster, and make your deliveries visible, right? The
Right.
second is that your work is your IP, and no one else can, take away your intellect or what you have created. Because I come from gems and jewelry, and it's very creative to me. So that's the second kind of, I would say, a confidence that we need to give them. The third is that, well, this industry is your legacy and no one can replace it, and tech cannot be a replacement of what the human beings bring to the table. So that's how we create that insulation and give them that safety net. The second thing that we do is that we create a buy-in wherein they become participants in the decision. So, for example, we may bring in a Rhino or a Matrix D for CAD operators. Then they say, "Oh yes, this is something that is helping us." Well, our output was maybe say 2 CADs, 3 CADs a day. Now it is 6, and they're getting incentives on it. So now here you see the difference. The third is that this is something which we are doing to create that whole pride and a sense of you bringing something new. Maybe an AI can create an image while a human being can get into a creative fatigue. and AI can give you many more options. From those options, you can get inspired and create another set of designs. So it will always become that facilitator, which is not going to erase your legacy, but it is going to build up. So this is my 2 cents on your answer.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. Beautifully put. So, uh,
Thank you.
the shift that people often underestimate, I think, is the value of communicating how the AI is
Absolutely.
going to add value
Absolutely.
instead of that
Absolutely.
replacing your job. So we have to communicate
True.
with people. How can it
True.
help them? We have to address that problem statement. That's when you're creating an ecosystem where even if you're adopting a technology, culture will not lag behind. So thank you so much
True.
for that. My next question, Dr. Soumya, is data-driven HR promises fairness and performance, but it also raises questions around trust and transparency. So I want to know,
True.
how can organizations use analytics effectively without using the human connect?
अब बोलते हैं डेटा इज द न्यू ऑयल बट डेटा इज द ट्रूथ डेटा इज कोल्ड डेटा इज हार्ड and when I say data is truth, it also means that truth is bitter. Whatever is done is very transparent, it is on the face, it is there. And data is also your biggest advocate. Now, when you weave the processes around this, people I have seen in my experience as the HR strategist also, they don't quit on anything, but they quit because they feel invisible in the system. The data can be that driver wherein the visibility can be created through the output, measured output, monitored output, right? The second is that it can also create footprints of the employee's next move. What are they feeling? How are they sensing? And today, so I'm also a trained psychologist. So we also take digital footprints, we take data and we analyze it with the behaviors. And once you start bringing that meld together, you understand the next move this person is going to. Point in case being, this guy in our organization was constantly complaining about ये बहुत भारी, आप हमसे बहुत भारी सामान उठवाते हैं, एंड दैट गाय वाज इन परचेज डिपार्टमेंट. अब हमारे यहाँ बैरल्स ऑफ कास्टिंग पाउडर्स आते हैं विच इज लाइक 20, 30, 40 kgs. अब इतनी छोटी प्रोमाइसेस होती हैं दैट वी डोंट हैव फोकलिफ्ट्स टू लिफ्ट दोस थिंग, तो 2-3 लोग मिलके उठाते हैं. ही स्टार्टेड कंप्लेनिंग. अब हमको लग रहा था ये जबरदस्ती से वाइनिंग वाइनिंग कर रहा है. But no one was looking at a very important point. That person was suffering with hernia, and that weight was not something that was, his body was allowing him to. And he was shy to say because the hernia was placed in the groin area, so he was very shy to speak it out. But once he told us and once we understood the problem, that's where we said, no, we need to bring in a police system. And now we have a pulley in place wherein, human beings are not doing. So that also, every incident also becomes a data point for us. Then the third thing that I'm saying is that we see a lot many promotions, happening in the organization. If they are not backed by data, then they are not promotions, but they are biases creeping in the system. And when biases creep in the system, the whole authenticity on around which an organization is built stands fractured and questioned. So again, I would say that data also creates pathways wherein you can give them on a trajectory, a future, wherein you may feel that, oh, now this person is stagnating in this role, in this job. Either you infuse, like हम जो PLC पढ़ते थे, वैसे employee life cycle, you infuse either a new stream, new blood, or a new maybe capability inside the person by means of trainings and giving them more, or you then put that person in another department wherein the newness will bring the charm back in. So it's all about romancing the data and how you would use that data to bring out the best in the person.
Sure,
So that
sure.
would be.
Thank you so much. So it basically is about not relying completely on data, because that will
Absolutely.
absolutely eliminate the human side of it about your views on a particular
True,
person
true,
or things. So
true,
it's important that you maintain that balance between your
true.
instincts along with making data-driven decisions.
बिल्कुल,
So
बिल्कुल.
thank you so much, Dr. Saumya. Moving on, you have worked closely with CEOs and boards. What people-related signals do high-performing organizations track differently as compared to the average ones?
So, we are in the VUCA and the Bani world. And I would say in the Trumpian world, VUCA and Bani is every day that we are witnessing. Uh, this is something wherein, the words like agility and things like this, I feel that now they are no longer those words which were the fancy words of people that were looking and weaving their entire talk shows around, but this is now action words. You have to continuously keep reinventing what you were doing, and you were as good as what your old self was, and again you have to come back as a new self. What I'm seeing a big shift is that how well you're aligned to the new normal, or you can say the new ways of doing business, right? In our world, I would say there is a lot of changes that we are seeing, right? Because gems and jewelry industry, the moment the world started dumping the US bonds, gold prices started rising. Once they started rising, now here comes the biggest challenge. Is this a commodity, which we used to call them, have now become a geopolitical assets and weapons. So today we are fighting at various levels, which is a sustainability. We are fighting at levels of supply chain. We're fighting at levels of, say, tariffs. We're also fighting at levels of keeping the consumer consciousness alive. Now, if you have all of these together, woven together, you will see that this is something where India is becoming the next answer to the world, alongside China or as an alternative to China. Uh, and of course, wherein we would curse the population, that has become a blessing in disguise for all of us. So, while we have talent galore, the best organizations are the one who know how to skim the sentiments and markets both. And they know when to move and where to move. Like, I wouldn't say it a chess, but हमारे इंडिया में चौसड़ खेली जाती थी, which used to be the plus sign and four people would play. I think that things have become as complicated as that. So, if you understand what is happening externally, and if you can bring the external in and then create an entire answer to that, it it solves a lot of things. So, first mover advantage, knowing your world outside, knowing what is happening in around, and how quickly and how fast you can respond to these changing scenarios is something that I would say the best organization do and become an excellent organization as opposed to the others. That would be the distinguishing factor.
Sure, sure. Especially how you started, Dr. Soumya. You said agility is no longer a fancy word.
Right.
It is an action word now. It is the
Yeah.
new normal. And
True.
yes, we are definitely living in an environment which is continuously evolving. It is very
True.
important to be agile and be future ready.
Right.
So a couple of points you mentioned that it's very critical to understand the external environment so you keep up with
Right.
the pace and not lag behind. Uh,
Right.
Secondly, your response time is also important. How you respond to those situations will keep you, in the business, and also make sure that your success is sustainable and not just
Absolutely.
reaching at the peak and then going down. So great points there, Dr. Soumya.
Right.
Moving on, in high pressure, performance-led environments, Dr. Soumya, I want to know how can leaders balance ambition with psychological safety without compromising on results?
Right. So again, another word that is often used is, oh, we give financial safety, we give well-being in various forms, and then we also give psychological safety. What is psychological safety? I don't think so that psychological safety is not something which is very soft in its understanding. It's a smart thing to do. A secure individual will be the high performing individual in any team, whether it is your personal relationships or professional existence. In both these spheres, the more safe the person feels, the more the person will bloom. Now, how do we create, and what great leaders do differently is, yes, we want to see the zero defects, right? We all love to see, oh, there is no zero defect. But there's something that one of our leaders used to say, if there are no problems, then there is a bigger problem. So there needs to be some sort of, there has to be some sort of, I would say, deviation, some little defects which would alert the system to how did it happen. If everything is moving seamless, that means no one is catching anything, and there is a problem in the entire value chain. The second is, if you see how were X-rays, how did it come into existence? एक की गिरी, एक कुछ हुआ, इफेक्ट हुआ, एंड उनको लगा अरे इसका इंप्रेशन आ गया. And that's how we now know what X-rays are. But that's an intelligent mistake. Organization should be ready for an intelligent mistake to happen, because that's also a critical form of your R&D, and it forms that base of that curiosity which is inside the DNA of the organization. And third is that how would you now, we all love to discuss, अरे ये चीज ऐसी हो गई, इसमें हम ऐसा करते तो ये बेटर होता. I call my MIS डिपार्टमेंट एज ऑटोप्सी डिपार्टमेंट. भाई आप पोस्टमार्टम करते रहते हैं, चीजें हो गई उसके बाद आप बोलते हैं ये करें. We should do a pre-mortem. What if I do this, do a little pilot test, see how it behaves, be okay with that, then move forward. पहले ही you should know, analyze all the scenarios, play around it, and create what all can go wrong, and then create that big shift or a big launch or get into a new market. Without that, it won't, make any sense. Fourth would be, वी ऑलवेज से, अरे ये बड़ा अच्छा है ना, कुछ बोलते ही नहीं है, बड़ी प्यारी लड़की है, कुछ नहीं बोलती है, बड़ा प्यारा इंसान है, कुछ बोलता ही नहीं. अरे वो बोल रहा है क्योंकि नहीं, अंदर से उबल रहा है. डू नॉट say that my silent person is my best person. No, there's a volcano simmering. You have to understand that you also need to reward people who are able to have that courage to speak up for what they truly believe in. Right or wrong, हम हमेशा course correction कर सकते हैं for the people who have worked in the organization, who are still getting to know what the culture of the organization is or aligning to the vision of the organization, but give them a chance to speak. I think these are the ways in which you create that safety blanket, if I could say, around individual, and that works fantastically well.
Sure, sure. It's very important to create that ecosystem where they feel valued, they feel heard, and
Yes.
psychological safety in today's date is a must-have because people work for people.
बिल्कुल.
Jobs can be replaced, people can be replaced at work,
Yes.
but you
Yes.
only stay if you have that sense of belongingness. So thank you so much
बिल्कुल.
for bringing it up. So this brings us to the last question for today, Dr. Soumya,
Right.
which is looking ahead 3 to 5 years from now, what capability or mindset will truly differentiate organizations that sustain high performance from those who peak briefly?
3 से 5 साल के बारे में अगर सोचने के लिए आप बोल रहे हैं नेहा, इट इज समथिंग दैट, पहले वी यूज टू मेक स्ट्रेटजीज, 5 years in this and that. Now things are changing by the day. However, what I have seen is that the products are no longer products, but they are visual stories. If people can connect to what you have created in a storytelling style, that is all the customers or the end consumer cares about. So you have to have that material agility, whether, especially coming from gems and jewelry, whether it is a lab grown diamond or an excavated diamond, you still need to treat the product in the same manner and not create that differentiation. It could be due to the price, which is something different. Then transparency in how you are, how you are conveying that product on the retail counter, which means what is the sourcing of that particular raw material? Is it ethically sourced? The labor, were all the international standards and best practices adhered to? Who crafted it? Are you giving that person the joy that, oh, yes, you're the creator of this? And what impact did that product made? So whenever there is an artisan who is especially making a wedding ring in our organization, we consciously make them say that, no, say a little bit of prayers, bless that jewelry, because आपने जो बनाया है वो किसी के लाइफ का एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा बनने वाला है. So when you craft a jewelry with a happy mind, that blessing goes with that. So that's our philosophy, and that's what we believe in. Very important factor another is the purpose led designs. Uh, are you using less metal, not just for the aesthetic reason but also sustainability? Yeah, are you using recycled metal also? Then the third is that product celebrating um, what you want to convey? Maybe your culture, maybe your race, maybe an occasion. What is it that it is trying to do? So I would say that these are a few of the points that really would help. You know,
Sure,
for
absolutely.
you.
Just to summarize, Dr. Saumya, for audience's benefit, as you rightly said, products are now about virtual storytelling. People connect to it
Right,
more when they feel it's relevant to them, when it is being conveyed in a particular way. Then there is
right,
agility, transparency, impact, and purpose-driven is
right,
the word when it comes to
right,
capabilities that will work even in the
right.
next 3 to 4 years. So thank you so much for your insights today. It was lovely having you, and actually you have reinforce the fact that high performing cultures are not just built by policies or strategies alone. It is built and shaped by everyday behavior, leadership choices, and what kind of ecosystem that you create for people. So that was my takeaway, and it was lovely having you today.
Thank you so much, Neha. Lovely having this chat with you. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Thanks a lot.